You're listening to The Tales We Tell, a podcast about spooky stories, unsolved mysteries, and local lore. I'm your host, Hannah Parch.
And I'm Katie.
Welcome back. We're drinking the good wine. It's not freezing cold.
We're laughing. My cheeks still hurt.
Oh, my husband did some streaking.
Silly shenanigans.
Oh, man. We should put that on Patreon.
It was both like a funny dare and a prank all in one.
It was. I wonder. Yeah, we can put that on Patreon. Sure.
Why not? I mean, people pay for it.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, we probably can't put it on,
I mean, just think of it as like OnlyFans.
It is safe. You don't see any genitalia.
You don't see anything you wouldn't see on cable.
Yeah. You see his butt.
You'd see that on cable.
Yeah. So, if you're not a patron and you want to be...
You might want to wear some sunglasses, though. The glare is...
It is wintertime, and that little bottom does not see a lot of the sunlight anyways, so...
Actually, I feel like it probably sees the most sun in the winter. Thinking about our past Christmas parties and the thong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, this isn't the first time Katie has seen his butt, and I'm fine with it. You know, it's fine. So as long as he's okay with it, I say we put it on Patreon. So if ever you had if ever you were on the fence about joining Patreon, now's the time, guys. I'm telling you what. Anyways, you want to say something, Katie?
Nothing's gonna top that, but so I had an appointment with my therapist this week, and he had me do a really interesting activity that I liked. Also, he might become a listener soon.
Yay!
He's recommended some stories that I'm either going to research and do, or just pass off to you to research and do.
Give me, I love.
There's some fun conspiracy theories and like...
Ooh, I love a therapist that recommends conspiracy theories.
And like government cover-up kind of things.
Sorry. I felt like I was hogging the mic space there.
Felt like it was really close to you. Anyway. Mm-hmm. So he had me do this exercise, and I think he called it the bomb list.
Ooh, okay.
And so it's supposed to be 15, but I'm going to make you do 5.
Okay.
And so you've got like 3 categories. So like the first 5 are, what are some achievements that you've gotten? I mean, it can be anything from any time in your life. Like, oh, dang, I should have said, in kindergarten or first grade, I can't remember, I won a hula hooping contest.
Ooh.
And I got to keep the hula hoop.
Ooh, okay. Very nice.
One of the first and only few things I've ever won.
It's important.
The second category is what are your like personality traits that make you awesome, like that's really cool about who you are.
Okay.
I think also maybe like any kind of skills or something too.
Okay.
I can't remember. And then the last category is what makes you great, like interpersonal relationships, like like when reacting or interacting with other people. And it's been several days and I can't remember all the categories specifically, but you can pick 5 things from any of those categories.
Okay.
And I think everyone listening should also make their own bomb list, please and thank you. But Hannah, go ahead. Just give me 5 things about you that make you awesome.
5 in each category, or
just
okay,
total?
Okay,
no,
all right,
because
cool.
we don't. It took me a little while to think through them.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, top thing, and things that I've been awarded. In 4th grade, I was the only person in my school to get a 4 on the writing test.
Nice,
which is the highest you could get.
I got one of those in high school.
They made like an announcement about it at like a thing. And I think my parents got to be there for it. I was very proud of it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Let's see. What were the other things? Personality?
Yeah, like what are some personality traits, or how you interact with others, like what others also see and get from relationships with you.
Man, I'm only thinking of negative things right now, which I know is not the point of this. Okay. I think I tend to care about people's feelings a lot.
Yep.
Let's see. I am good at baking. Make good baked goods.
I do enjoy those brownies.
Haha. Although I did make a derby pie that I'm not crazy about, which
It could just be the recipe itself.
yeah, I don't know. I also refrigerated it, which I don't think you're supposed to do. I also think I used too many chocolate chips. Another time. Okay. Two more. Oh, I'm good at gift giving. And I enjoy giving gifts. And
Something else about your personality or some other cool thing that you've done.
Oh, I created a podcast.
There we go.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah. That was one of the things that I said
Thanks.
on my list.
Yeah.
And
Created and sustained. We have sustained a podcast.
We're going to have our third year anniversary in a couple of months.
I know.
Like right after Walker's first birthday.
I know. You're going to have a 1-year-old. You've kept a human alive for almost a year.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That is
It's really hard
amazing.
work, but it's impressive. So, yeah.
Shocking. Not shocking, but
Rude.
I know. It's impressive.
Thank you.
But encouraging too. I was telling people the other night, I was like, my brother-in-law had a baby recently and my good friend had a baby recently, and watching them do the parenting thing has been encouraging because I'm like,
Well,
okay.
if they can do it, those idiots can do it. I could probably do it.
Not so
too.
much that, but just like, okay, let me see how Katie does it, and let me kind of learn from her. I like to see other people do things first before I...
One thing that I already know from parenting, though, is that, like, no two pregnancies are the same, even for the same woman. No two children are going to be the same. So, like, the next one might be a true hell beast. Who knows?
Yeah.
Walker might turn into a hell beast. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. He might hit 2 and...
Yeah, he's pretty good right now, despite he's got a brutal diaper rash, and he's teething like crazy. He had a rough afternoon.
Poor guy. He's real cute, though.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh, wait.
Ooh, more pictures. Okay, well, I do have 2 announcements. The first one is that I heard about this topic on another podcast. And there was a Netflix, not a documentary, but like an episode of a show about it. And I'm sure other podcasts have done it before. So if anyone has heard about this before, sorry, but listen, it's wild and crazy, and also there's not enough of these crazy things to go around for everyone. So just...
You haven't heard our take on it.
Come along. I heard it for the first time on And That's Why We Drink. They did a 2-part story, and I did re-listen to it after I had put our episode together, which I typically don't like to do, just so that I like to make sure that ours is different. But I wanted to make sure that I got
all the facts correct.
All the facts and the details, which I'm glad I did, because Christine did have like a bunch of extra stuff that I didn't. So theirs aired in August and September of this past year. It's episodes 290 and 291. And Christine focused a lot on the background of our main character in the first episode, and then the crimes of this character in the second episode. We're just going to roll it all into one.
Sounds good.
So, my second announcement is a content warning. Sorry. It's not Dante safe. I'm sorry, Dante, if you've been listening up until this point. You can't listen anymore. Ask Stephanie to get on Patreon and show you the funny video of Achu running naked. So the content warnings here are going to be graphic violence, more graphic violence, and some mention of self-harm.
All right, well, I can handle all those.
Oh, yeah. There's no child killing.
Murder, maiming.
Yeah, there's no
right, well,
animal abuse, anything
set.
like that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you today about the Children of Thunder.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right, okay. All right.
I really wish we could get a booming thunderclap in there.
Oh, right? Wouldn't that be good? Jared, could we have any sound effects?
I wish I was friends with Thor. He could hook us up.
Right? I wish I was friends with Thor, too.
We could hook up.
And also, he's friends with Captain America, which is currently my second string, so... Okay.
No, that reminds me.
Of your second string?
Whenever we get to...
Shelton's
like,
death.
Sorry. Whenever we get to, like, a dark part of the story and we might need a little break, just mention Below Deck.
Oh, okay. Okay. Your trashy reality show that you watch. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, if you'd like, you can go ahead and look at your dossier. Because our first two pictures... Our first two pictures are Glenn Taylor Helzer, which, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like Glenn.
Ooh, I put these in the wrong order. I did not have them in order.
But
sorry.
She looks fun.
Man, I ruined this perfect surprise. Da, da, da.
Ruined it. Ruined.
I know. Just play some music here. And we're back. Okay. Yes, Glenn Taylor Helzer.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does he look a little bit like creepy Josh Groban?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great.
Like a chubby, creepy Josh Groban. Like, his face is much more filled out.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't necessarily look chubby, but he looks like a chubby...
Like if Josh Groban had a drinking problem that caused a little puffiness in the
some
face.
bloating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wore bad glasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not bad, they're just not right for his face shape. On other people, they could probably rock those kind of professor glasses.
I mean, if it was Josh Groban, perhaps.
Maybe.
Jarek says he will make some popcorn if we have some. We do have some, don't worry.
Oh, I thought you meant like, if I'll eat some if you have some, and it's like, of course we'll have some. We're asking you to make it for us. What? Never mind.
Oh, gosh. No.
All right, so...
Okay, so his full name is Glenn Taylor Helzer. He goes by Taylor.
Never met a Glenn who wasn't a hilarious guy.
This one's not hilarious. He is born in 1970, and then his brother, Justin Helzer, which is our next picture, was born in 1972. And my opinion is Justin just looks like a grumpier, sadder version of Taylor.
And more attractive?
Sure.
He's got much sharper features and a really prominent brow.
Yeah. There's a lot of things we'll say about...
He reminds me a little bit of Christian Bale in The Dark Knight.
Oh. Let's see.
But more like villainy.
Yeah, kind of. Dark
But he also
hair.
reminds me of like some other like mafia type villain.
The dark hair. So both Taylor and Justin were born to devout Mormon parents in Lansing, Michigan. Thank you. But they were raised in Martinez, California. Taylor was described as charming and gregarious, while Justin was more introverted and looked up to his older brother, which Taylor encouraged. Both Taylor and Justin and their sister were raised very devout. They often heard stories of their grandfather, who was apparently visited by Jesus himself on the front lawn. Like, full body apparition.
That's a great place for a visit. I hope they invited him in for a drink.
I'm sure they tried.
I would have handed him a bottle of water, been like, do your thing.
Want to come in for a drink? Wink, wink.
Can you turn just the tap from water to... It's like, I'll buy bottled water. It's cheaper than wine.
We have our emergency supply of water for hurricanes and such, but, okay. You know. So, a very devout Mormon family. But when Taylor was a teenager, he began having auditory hallucinations. So he...
Like that.
Whoa.
Thank you!
Thanks.
Naked man.
Perfect timing. You're welcome to the... You know the popcorn.
Can you hear it crunch? Through the...
Very mildly. I think it's fine. I'll eat over here. So Taylor's having auditory hallucinations. He's hearing voices. And
what kind of hallucinations would you prefer to have? Visual or auditory or like full on, like, what are some of the other styles of hallucinations?
I don't know. I mean,
I think I'd rather see things than just hear things.
I don't know, because the way that my anxiety has, like, when it's been bad, I don't know. I'm not 1,000% convinced that I didn't have a hallucination at one point when I was having a really bad anxiety attack. I don't know, because, like, I've had anxiety where I am so convinced that something is real, I might as well be hallucinating. And
interesting.
I've also had anxiety that's so bad that I don't know. I don't want to say I feel like I'm hearing things, but, you know, when you hyperfixate on if you're laying in bed in a quiet house and you're listening to every single thing.
Oh, I used to hear children down the street calling my name to come and play.
Exactly. So
I probably did hear children down the street playing, maybe, but they weren't calling my name.
Yeah. So,
I was just bored and lonely.
Yeah. Neither one is good. And what is most unfortunate about this is that Taylor did tell his mom about these voices that he was hearing, and his mom said, let's go see a psychiatrist or a doctor. She said, oh, those are the voice of God, and you should listen to them, and you should obey them.
No, Mom. No. I may have only been doing this mom gig for 9 months. But
you know that
I know that that's going to end badly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the biggest red flag is that they're on our podcast.
Yeah. So she said, this is wonderful news. You're hearing the voice of God.
God's telling me to kill people?
You know what? And she said, not only is this wonderful news, God is speaking to you. This makes you special. She said, Justin and younger sister, whose name I didn't write down, your brother, Taylor, is being spoken to directly by God, and you should listen to everything he says. And he is special. He is chosen. God's speaking to him. He is, like, set apart.
Making a bad decision and doubling down.
Exactly.
Cool.
And remember, Taylor is already, like, very charismatic, very charming. He's already naturally...
Classic older brother.
Yes. And Justin is already naturally very, like, submissive, introverted, like, very much a follower anyways. So, like, we're just kind of...
setting up the dominoes to watch how they fall.
Yes. So, another thing that their mother did is she enrolled Taylor in something called impact training, which, again, Christine does a better job of going into this, which she dedicates a whole episode to. But it was essentially pretty, I'm going to say abusive training, or abusive tactics being used to break down people to the point where they were completely dependent on the people leading the training.
Kind of like Pray the Gay Away camp meets Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah, so like sleep deprivation. I think the way they described it on And That's Why We Drink was like, when you make the lows so bad, the highs seem even higher. Anyways, so he went through that, but for someone who now has undiagnosed auditory hallucinations and thinks he's hearing the voice of God, I would say that's especially dangerous because he, I would think, is less susceptible to people in authority telling him things.
Yeah, he's a strong personality.
And he's now seeing these things and learning how to duplicate them and use these tactics on other people. So he's essentially, like, in this training learning how to, like, manipulate and brainwash people. So, after high school, both Taylor and Justin go on their mission, which, in the Mormon belief, is when you go for a period of either volunteering, doing humanitarian work, or evangelical service in another community. It usually lasts anywhere between 6 and 24 months. So, Taylor completed his mission in Brazil, and Justin completed his mission in Texas. Which, when I was doing these notes, everything was like, oh, Taylor goes to Brazil and Justin goes to Texas. Kind of boring. Anyways.
Depends on where in Texas, I guess.
I mean, true. And then...
And also where in Brazil.
Also true. Well, then when they get back, Taylor meets a woman named Anne, decides to settle down. In 1993, he gets married, and her uncle sets him up with a job as a stockbroker. So he's like fresh out of high school, fresh back from Brazil,
ready to make some money.
Like, going as a stockbroker. He's really good at the job because he's, again, very charming and charismatic. And meanwhile, Justin...
Getting American Psycho vibes.
Yeah, I was getting that too. Meanwhile, Justin comes back from Texas and starts working as a cable installer and is not married.
There's nothing wrong with being a cable installer.
I know.
As long as they show up within the window that they say they're gonna be.
It's true.
The cable installers that don't show up in that window of time, or give you a 12-hour window of time, those are assholes.
Yeah, and expect you to stay home that entire time. I know. Very soon after getting married, Taylor and Anne began experiencing problems. Which I don't know if you're shocked.
It was Taylor and Anne and Taylor's voices.
Yes. So Taylor, turns out, had a pretty serious porn addiction. And he was pretty upset that Anne...
Was not a porn star?
Yes. Was not a porn star and was not willing to act out the things he was seeing in the porn that he was viewing. Mind you, she had just given birth to their first child. Oh. So they start going to marriage counseling, and that very much did not help. Because in counseling, Taylor proposed his own solution to their sexual problems. I need ever know, Katie's just sitting here munching on popcorn, and it's just perfect for this.
It's helping with my like slow blink, just the whole attitude of, oh, this is gonna be good. What do you got for us, Taylor?
We're gonna talk about mental health and everything, and I do understand that at this point he is an undiagnosed person with a mental disorder, but he's also harming people at this point. So his idea,
an explanation doesn't excuse behavior.
This is true. His idea to fix their marriage, which, in his opinion, the problem is that his wife, who's just given birth, does not want to have creative sex with him all the time. All right, his solution. He's going to advertise for sex partners in Brazil, because he's been there. He's thinking he's probably going to get 100 applicants or so. And out of that, he's going to narrow it down to about 35. Then he's going to have each of those 35 women sign a 2-year contract, and then he's going to set them up in alternating shifts so that he can be insured to have a sex partner each night. A different one, obviously. You don't want to, repeat, because that's...
It gets old.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have at least 35 different ones, before you repeat, because,
But every now and then he needs to shuffle up the rotation, too, because even a different person every night, it's Tuesday, you're getting Linda.
Yeah.
No.
You
need Susanna tonight.
Yeah. So not shockingly, neither the counselor nor Anne thought that this was a good idea. And the counselor finally, someone diagnosed Taylor with narcissistic personality disorder. That changed nothing. He didn't get any kind of treatment.
Well, yeah, because a counselor can't prescribe, medications or treatment.
And I'm sure the counselor said, perhaps visit your primary care provider with this diagnosis and seek treatment options. And Taylor didn't do that. So in 1996, Taylor and Anne separated, and Taylor went to live with Justin. He was apparently feeling trapped by the Mormon lifestyle and wanted to experience a, quote, normal life.
So he had his own little Rumspringa.
Of sorts. Although, I don't know. I don't know how much porn is in the Mormon lifestyle, but whatever.
There's nothing wrong with porn.
There isn't. No, correct.
Most.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
we'll dial that back.
Gonna backtrack. See, I just wanted to be that it's okay and fine and everything, or healthy or whatever, to watch porn. We don't want to victimize or villainize porn or people who watch it. But also, people need to understand that that is not real life.
Right. There is a problem with watching it and then expecting that or I don't know. Whatever Taylor was doing was problematic in his relationship. Mm-hmm. And probably against Mormon rules. I don't know. I was just saying, I think within the Mormon code of things,
it's probably frowned upon.
Excessive porn watching is probably wrong. I mean, within the Baptist code of rules, any porn was wrong. So I'm just assuming. So Taylor is living with his brother. However, he was continuing to sleep with Anne until she became pregnant again. Also, as part of his now rebellious lifestyle, he began wearing black clothes. I know, shocker. He also began sleeping around, drinking, smoking, and showering less, which, gross. Taylor.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
Well, I mean, yeah. But still, gross. I feel like when guys do it, they mean, like, when guys shower less, it's like once a week.
Been there.
Listen, we've all been there during quarantine, but, like...
No, I'm talking about just between...
You're also a mom.
I'm a mom. Suffer from depression and ADHD, and
it's true.
I'm already just in general a dirty hippie, so whatever, dude.
You also wear a lot of black,
especially in the winter.
Yeah,
it's slimming.
Let's see, drinking, got that down.
Yep.
Let's see.
Not the smoking or the sleeping around though.
All right, so eventually Taylor and Anne did get divorced, and that was a big deal because regardless of what we know about how the Mormon church felt about porn, they definitely did not like divorce. That was a big...
Just one more act of rebellion for him.
Yeah, it's like big no-no. Around this time, Taylor also began coming up with his own belief system that became more and more erratic, strengthening his belief that he was a prophet of God that was receiving messages directly from God. By the way, he called the voices that he was hearing spirit. So he would say when relaying these messages, "Spirit says," which that will come up later. He also believed that the apocalypse was super near and that he was the only one who knew about it. But he had to do something. His sister was getting worried about his behavior and his increasingly drastic beliefs, and so she wrote to the Mormon church asking for help, and they replied by excommunicating Taylor altogether.
This is why I hate organized religion.
Yeah. And that's ironically... I guess not ironically, but that enforced his beliefs that he was, like, chosen and special, because he's like, they...
It drives me crazy. I've got nothing against anyone who has, like, religious beliefs of any kind. But stupid decisions that organized religion makes, like, you make problems worse doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stop being rigid and hypocritical.
Yeah.
Rigid and hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's what I hate. They're like, oh, no, we got to follow these rules unless they all of a sudden don't support us.
So, as a quick side note, Taylor was granted disability in 1998 after he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. At some point, he had a, quote, psychotic break, which cost him his job, and then he got on disability because of that. However... his cousin, whose name was Chai Hoffman, who had spent time institutionalized and had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, testified later. Spoiler alert, there's a trial. And Chai said this, quote, "There was a few times where Taylor would act out really crazy and then stop and ask, quote, was that how the people in the hospital acted?" End quote.
That's that narcissistic personality.
Yeah. There. So again, Taylor obviously does have some kind of mental disorders. He obviously has some kind of narcissistic disorder,
but he's more manipulative
Right.
than batshit crazy.
Yeah. And he obviously has something going on with auditory hallucinations, but some of his actions, given this context, may have been performative. And there has been some suggestions that his, like, quote-unquote psychotic break was, like, staged.
Well, I mean, look at some of those Karen videos online of these entitled women. Sure, a lot of it's entitlement, but I think some of them really are just crazy.
Yeah.
And some of it probably is, like, I would say, possibly narcissistic personality disorder.
Yeah.
And, so it is performative, but they're trying to be manipulative in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, on Memorial Day of 1999, Taylor and Justin were just casually attending a murder mystery dinner at a Mormon temple.
We need to do that.
I know we should. And at this dinner, they met 25-year-old Dawn Godman.
Is this Cowgirl Dawn?
Yeah. Except you have to see her regular picture first.
Okay. I got spoiler
I
pictures.
know.
Is there a picture?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a regular picture of her before she becomes a cowgirl. Yep.
All right.
So Dawn at this time is 25.
This looks like a courtroom, not this looks post-Cowgirl.
Yeah, this is post-cowgirl. So she had kind of had a rough life. She was divorced and she had lost custody of her only child due to a suicide attempt. So she had been, like, very depressed.
Nothing like helping depression by taking away her child.
I know. So she had recently moved in with a relative in Martinez and gotten a job, was trying to kind of start over. And so she had joined the Mormon church and was kind of trying to find a purpose and trying to, whatever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, then she met the Helzer brothers. She was really fascinated by Taylor.
It sounds like everyone was.
Everyone was. But she ended up dating Justin. So she meets them. She becomes friends with them. Her and Justin start dating. But also she's, like, kind of low-key sleeping with Taylor on the side.
Ugh.
I know. It's one of those situations. Eventually, Taylor convinces her to go to one of these awareness trainings, like his mother sent him to. After that, he began offering to give her, quote, spiritual guidance.
From his spirit.
Yes. And he convinced her that he was a prophet. And in January of 2000, Taylor told Dawn of his plan to take over the Mormon church and defeat Satan. The details of that plan are as follows.
Oh, yay, there's details.
Oh, there's details. Okay. So.
Oh, I'm so glad I have popcorn
I
for
know,
this.
right? I told you. All right. So, plan is go to Brazil. Brazil's very involved in this. I know.
Central.
They did.
It is key. Brazil holds the key to defeating Satan.
And poor Brazil did not ask to be involved at all.
They're like, who is this guy?
No.
What is his
They
obsession?
said, no, thank you. Okay, go to Brazil. Adopt a bunch of Brazilian orphans. And then train them to be assassins. And then have the Brazilian orphans...
He's been paying attention to what's been going on in Africa. With their child soldiers.
Have the Brazilian child assassins kidnap the Mormon church leaders. And then smuggle the leaders back to Brazil and force them to write letters declaring Taylor as the true leader of the Mormon church. All Mormons around the world will accept this.
I see a huge flaw in this plan already.
Oh, no. No flaws.
No. They're training the children to be assassins.
Yeah.
But they want to kidnap them. They need to train them to be kidnappers, not assassins.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that. They should... Yeah, that is a big flaw.
Big flaw.
Once you get an assassin in the room...
They're just going to kill them.
They're just going to kill them. Then you're just going to have a bunch of dead church leaders.
Yeah. And how will you get them to write letters declaring you as the leader?
Well, perhaps the plan is after they write the letters, then they kill them.
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
But, I mean, it would be easier to train like the kidnappers. Train them to be kidnappers. That seems like the hard part.
Now, is this a situation...
And once the kidnappers have them smuggled away, and once they've written their letters, it's like, man, it's pretty easy to kill them after that, right?
I wonder if this is like an Armageddon situation where it's like easier to train oil drillers to be astronauts than it is to train astronauts to be oil drillers. And so it's like...
I love that because everyone's like, ooh, astronauts, they're so smart. Yeah, they are, but they don't know everything.
They don't know how to drill into an asteroid.
Yeah. And I mean, they didn't go up there by themselves. They went with other actual astronauts, So they were like, how hard is it to train them to, like, sit in a rocket and float around in space when the time came?
That's true, actually.
Like, let the other actual astronauts do the hard space stuff.
Okay, well, except for that one flaw that you found.
Otherwise, plan is
otherwise
pure gold.
Yeah. So all the Mormons would accept that Taylor was their true leader, and then Taylor would develop an awareness training of his own called Transform America, and that would brainwash everyone, I guess, and create eternal peace.
Transform America. Just kind of blends together. America.
Yeah, Transform America. Exactly. Transform America. Transform America.
Transform America?
For America. Oh my gosh, I'm behind this all of a sudden. I wasn't before, but now.
Now that we brought the trans community into this.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the plan will work now.
Maybe it will.
Because they'll get it done.
They truly will. Okay. So maybe now we're training the trans community to be kidnappers.
Kidnap assassins.
Well, maybe they can do the kidnapping and we can still train the Brazilian orphans to be assassins.
They'll lure them in and be like, we're going to do this one thing. And they'll be like, fooled you. I was something else entirely all along.
Gosh.
And I've only had half of a glass of wine.
I know. This is my second glass.
I blame the popcorn. It's making me silly.
Oh my gosh. So this is the plan. And Taylor tells this to Dawn. And then he asks Dawn if she would be willing to kill in God's name. And Dawn says that it would be a blessing to do that. And Dawn would later testify that Taylor, quote, made you feel like you were the most important person in the world.
That's how they do it.
Which, yeah. Taylor did have a few other followers, you could say, at this point. But when he revealed this plan, they kind of
skedaddled,
dropped off. So now he just has Justin and Dawn. And he says that the three of them are a holy trinity. And that they are the children of thunder. And just wait, I'm about to get to a great part. And then it's all going to get awful. So he also came up with 12 principles of magic for them to follow / memorize. And I'm going to tell you what they are.
We're bringing magic into this now. Mm-hmm. All right. Did they start playing Magic the Gathering on the side or something? And
I'm sure that they are not cool enough for that.
All right. That's fair.
All right, you ready?
Bring it on.
All right. Number 1. I am already perfect and therefore can do nothing wrong. Number 2. There is no such thing as right and wrong. Number 3. I am all powerful and therefore the creator of and accountable for everything that occurs in my life. Number 4. Life is always right. I embrace all of my results. Number 5. All of my results I have created to learn from at some level. Number 6. I know nothing. I believe nothing. I simply perceive without fear. Number 7. It is of no concern to me how accurate or inaccurate my perceptions are, and therefore I am always right. not bad principles to live by.
I'm waiting till the end. I've got thoughts, but
Okay.
I'm holding them to the end.
Number 8, unconditional fearless love is the most powerful force in the universe. Not a bad one. Number 9.
Notes.
Number 9, spirit knows. Number 10, I gain total control by losing all control. Number 11, life is such a precious gift, and when I give back to life, immediately life gives more back to me, and therefore I am forever in its debt. What goes around comes around. And then number 12, there is a higher power than mine, and that is my Savior, Jesus Christ, the Son of my Father.
Maybe he just developed this list to make his brother feel better about himself.
Oh, poor Justin. There's no such thing as right and wrong is a bad one. That's dangerous. I am all powerful? No. Life is always right? No. All of my results I have created to learn from at some level? Sure.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be creating your results.
Yeah.
You should be creating the circumstance or situation
Yeah.
that then creates its own results.
The unconditional fearless love is a good one.
Yeah. Not perfect, because the most powerful force on Earth obviously is water, but
What about heart?
unconditional love is second
Heart always got a...
on Captain Planet.
He was the smallest of the elements, and therefore, I feel like always got forgotten. And also kind of the lamest of the elements. Controlled animals, what does that mean? Okay, so who knows what these are supposed to mean? He just made a list and was like...
People just have to come up with, cult leaders need to come up with doctrines and
Yeah, he wrote it probably on a
dogmas
napkin or
and
something.
stuff.
So, he's got this. He's got their, game plan for child assassins. And he's apparently got a budget, because he's like, all right, we need $20 million to do this.
Did not expect that number.
And so they started brainstorming some ideas.
How did he come up with this number?
No idea. I have no idea how they got to $20 million. I don't know. He's a stockbroker. He's supposed to be good with money. He hired a really...
Maybe good with money, but that doesn't make you necessarily good with numbers.
Maybe he hired...
Understanding trends and stocks and everything is not the same at being good at budgets.
He hired... What was the guy on Barry? Did you watch Barry? Did you watch Barry?
No, I think I tried watching a few episodes and I just couldn't get into it. And then I didn't have HBO anymore.
Oh. We'll give you our HBO. It's worth it. Barry's like a manager guy who you go back and forth with loving and hating. I feel like it would be like he got him to give him like a quote on how much it would cost to like train child assassins, and he just gave him like an outrageous number and was like, it'll cost $1 million per child plus additional fee. I don't know. Anyways, so 20 million. So they're like, all right, we have to come up with some ways to make money and raise $20 million.
A bake sale.
I know, right? So, after running through some of their options, which included prostitution ring and buying stock from fast food chains and then calling in bomb threats to manipulate the prices, they settled on a more practical / solid option, good old-fashioned extortion.
Yep.
So, part of this plan involved needing a fourth person who could launder the money / be the fall guy for stuff. So Taylor chose his girlfriend.
Dawn.
No. You were correct. Pick up your... Yeah. Yeah, so Taylor, actually, Dawn was just the other girl he was sleeping with on the side.
Got it.
So he had a girlfriend named Selena Bishop, who was 22. And they had met at a rave in the spring of 2000. And Selena was actually the daughter of blues musician Elvin Bishop, which I don't know if you're into blues music. I don't know. He's still around making music.
Okay.
I was not familiar with him. And despite her being the daughter of a famous musician, she was pretty young and naive. She was from a small town, and she had been completely smitten with Taylor from the minute that she met him. But Taylor had kind of planned on using her from the day he met her. And so he told her that his name was Jordan. He wouldn't tell her his last name. He wouldn't give her his phone number. He wouldn't let her take pictures of him. And he didn't want to meet any of her friends.
Okay. Reddest of flags.
Yeah, like
red flares,
carnivals.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
People, if you ever meet someone who's not willing to give you any personal information,
Yeah.
like basic, if it's not available on their Facebook, run.
Yeah. Not good. And not just red flags in the sense of like he's toxic and like bad news bears. He's probably dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's obviously sketchy.
Yeah. So, in July of 2000, Taylor helped Selena move out of her mom's house into a studio apartment. And he had told her that he was about to inherit a large amount of money from his grandmother, but he needed to keep it away from his ex-wife. And so Selena agreed to open 4 bank accounts in her name that Taylor/Jordan could have access to. Which, again, don't do that. Anyone. Don't open bank accounts for other people.
No, the only person you should consider opening a bank account with is a business partner or your spouse.
Correct. Yes. Taylor had made a list of former clients that could be potential targets for this crime.
Delightful.
And by some twist of fate, the first person on his list, a man named Bob White, wasn't home on the day that they stopped by his house. And so they moved on to the next names on the list, which were Annette and Ivan Steinman. Yes, you have pictures. And they were 78 and 85, respectively. 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 They seem like
Be respectable.
a nice couple. And Taylor had been their stockbroker for several years and developed a friendship with them. Their adult daughter, Nancy, had told authorities later that her parents had trusted Taylor and thought of him like a son. Yeah.
They do seem like a nice couple.
So, on July 30th of 2000, Taylor and Justin approached the Steinman house dressed in suits and carrying briefcases. When the couple answered the door, they happily invited them in because they knew Taylor. And they chatted with them for nearly an hour before Taylor and Justin pulled out their guns and handcuffed the couple, forcing them into the waiting car that they had and taking them back to their house.
That sounds like kidnapping, not extortion.
We're getting to that. So, once there...
They get their job titles confused. They're training assassins to kidnap. They're kidnapping to do extortion.
Yeah, Once there, they made Ivan and Annette call their daughter and tell her that they were going on vacation last minute. And they made Annette call and cancel a hair appointment that she had coming up. And then they demanded $100,000. Which they're looking for $20 million. So...
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Small start.
Maybe they had a long list of people that they could, they wanted to cast a wide net.
I don't know. So the Steinmans were like, hey, Taylor, I don't know if you know how wealth works, but most of our wealth is not liquid assets.
Yeah, we don't have that just laying around.
Yeah, that money is not just like all available at the bank.
It's more so theoretical money.
So naturally,
we own the idea of that money.
Yeah. So naturally what they did is Justin and Taylor and Dawn stayed up all night doing a bunch of meth. And then in the morning, they had...
It came out of nowhere, but was also not surprising in the least.
Yeah. In the morning, they had Dawn call the bank, pretending to be Annette, and asked that all of their assets be liquefied. Totally normal call that banks get all the time.
They can totally do that over the phone, too.
And the bank was like, we strongly advise not doing this. But okay, sure. And then, after that, they forced Ivan and Annette to take 6 Rohypnol pills each.
Woohoo!
And then after they had roofied them, they made them sign 2 checks equaling $100,000 to Selena because she had the bank accounts. Mm-hmm. And Annette had trouble with this because she had just been roofied. And so they were like, oh, I know what will wake up this 78-year-old woman. Let's force her to smoke meth. And so they made Annette smoke meth to try to wake her up from the roofies they had just given her.
Woohoo, amphetamines!
And that did not work. And so Annette just passed out. And so Dawn just finished making out the check. So afterwards, Taylor and Justin and Dawn are just waiting for the Steinmans to die from the drugs. But they don't, because roofies don't kill you.
I mean, anything can kill you.
I mean, but this was not killing them. They were just very, very much passed out. So then they tried...
The meth would kill you.
That's true. I know, but they probably didn't want to waste the meth. Mm-hmm. So they tried to suffocate them with plastic. But at that point, I think they woke up and started struggling.
They got to do the method of our buddies who sold the bodies.
Yeah. One lay on top and then...
the other smother
it's
with their hand.
Truly. It's obviously easy if you have large hands. Mm-hmm. Which we just don't. Which is why we...
Are you kidding me? I'm insulted.
Well, and you love the person that you were trying to suffocate.
That was my problem, is that I love my husband and I don't want to murder him or cause him harm.
That's the problem.
But I have very large hands and I'm very proud of them. Thank you very much. I can palm a basketball, damn it.
Do you want to say your happy thing before or after I tell you the really awful stuff?
After.
Okay.
It's not a happy thing, it's a funny thing.
Oh, okay. Great. Just stick with me for a second. So, suffocating them didn't work, so they drug Annette and Ivan into the bathroom. Taylor cut Annette's throat with a hunting knife, and Justin smashed Ivan's head into the floor. Dawn testified in court that when Ivan saw Taylor kill Annette, he stopped struggling and gave up.
Yeah. Nope, I would probably.
Yeah. And then the following day, Taylor made Justin dismember the bodies with some kind of power saw. I saw chainsaw and I saw a reciprocating saw. And while Justin was doing this, Taylor was meditating and getting more
chatting with Spirit.
Messages from Spirit. Could be Spirit Airlines, you know. The way we're just saying Spirit, not the Spirit.
Screw that airline. Had a very bad experience.
Also, part of their plan, which them very much for doing this, they had gotten 3 dogs specifically for the purpose of eating the bodies.
First of all, you get pigs for that, not dogs. Second of all, don't use animals to help you with your murder.
Yeah. Also,
just animal cruelty, in a way.
Okay, so then these dum-dums realized that, 2 full-grown humans were too much for 3 dogs to eat. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, I guess it's not gonna work.
And the dogs won't eat all parts of them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's, a meme face. A meme, not mean. A meme for, the face I'm trying to make of, what? Okay, sorry.
I think it's the Jackie Chan.
Yeah, just, what? Yeah, pigs, literally anything. What if you got the pickiest dog in the world? Apparently Scooby, my foster that I had for over a year, who was not a picky eater at all when I had him, would literally steal shit off the counter. Apparently now that he is in his new home, he is a very picky eater. Now that he gets home-cooked meals every day.
That'll do it.
What happens if you adopt the 3 dogs from the shelter that happen to be picky eaters and don't want just the random shit that you give them? Also, I'm sorry, but okay, sorry. I hope those dogs got adopted into very loving families after that. Okay, so they've dismembered these bodies. The dogs are not going to eat them, and so they put the bodies into trash bags and then duffel bags along with rocks and stepped stones that they have gathered from outside. And then the next day, August 1st, Dawn goes to the bank to deposit the checks the $100,000 checks. And to keep a low profile,
Cowgirl Dawn?
Dawn wears a lime green tracksuit.
Oh boy.
A silver sparkly cowboy hat, red boots, and big sunglasses. And for some reason, she's in a wheelchair.
Well, she's kind of a big girl. Maybe she was just tired of walking that day. She might have joint problems. Don't be ableist, Hannah.
Everything else. I feel like this should be... I wish I could just, like, have, like, a drawing contest of, like, everyone please draw what you think Cowgirl Dawn looks like in a green tracksuit and a sparkly cowboy hat and red cowboy boots and big sunglasses in a wheelchair. Rolling up to the bank teller. And then, that's not enough. She's not
I mean, you can't even see the sunglasses, but you can kind of tell that they're there.
Tell me that would
really
not...
funny.
Honest to God, if I saw anyone...
I would hit the security button, the secret security button, as soon as she strolled in.
Or at the very least, you're going home and telling your husband about that encounter. Like, that's the one encounter you're going to remember that day.
Oh,
if
and if
anything.
she tries to deposit checks, I'm going to be like, with amounts this large, we just need to, run it through a couple of other people, because I'm not going down with this on my own. No, indeed. No, sir.
So, not only that, and she's not even doing that and then going in and being like, hey, I just need to deposit this check real quick. Nothing else. She goes in and she's like, hi, I need to deposit these checks into Selena's bank account because Selena's about to have open heart surgery and I'm a friend of the family and I'm actually doing the family a really huge favor because this money is from her grandparents and we really need to put the money into her account to pay for the surgery, and this is a really big favor that I'm doing for the family to deposit the money.
Too much.
Right? I don't know if she was just like, green is my color. This is like the best outfit I could possibly wear.
She's just a terrible actress.
I have no idea what's happening. But she does this, and the bank is like, this is a big amount of money, so we are going to have to
everywhere.
Call some people to verify and make sure this isn't fraudulent. So they call the Steinman's stockbroker, and the stockbroker's like, okay, we need the Steinman's social security numbers. And Dawn is able to provide that because they have stolen the wallets and social security cards. And then the banker is like, something does not feel right. I know technically the stockbroker is telling me this is okay. She says something doesn't feel right. So she's like, I need to talk to the Steinmans on the phone before I can make this deposit. And so Dawn goes back and tells Taylor this information. She's like, what are we going to do? We killed these people. And Taylor's like, you know what? Not worth it. Scrap the plan.
I thought he was going to pull a Ferris Bueller's Day Off move there.
Right. They've already had Dawn impersonate Annette on the phone once. Mm-hmm. But no.
Why not do it again?
He's literally like, oh, not worth it. We'll find $100,000 somewhere else.
Drugging.
I know.
Kidnapping, drugging, killing, and dismembering people. Mm-hmm. Seems like a lot of work to go through to just scrap it in the end because you can't fake a phone call.
Yeah. So, scrapping the plan, the $10,000, not worth it anymore, I guess.
No, $100,000.
Sorry, $100,000.
And wasn't it 2 checks of $100,000?
No, it was 2 checks equaling $100,000. Okay. Yeah. Because one check would just be too suspicious, I guess, for Cowgirl Dawn. So on August 2nd, so the following day, Taylor met Selena at one of their regular date spots, which was the Bison Brewing Company in Berkeley. The bartender saw them sit at a table for a while before leaving, and apparently Taylor had suggested to Selena that they go on vacation to Yosemite. The following day, a neighbor saw them drive up to the Helzer house and go inside. And once inside, Taylor suggested that they have a game night with Justin and Dawn. He got Selena a drink, which he had roofied. But she noticed the crushed up pills in her wine. And she said something. And Taylor said, oh, the glass just must be dirty. So she didn't drink the roofied wine. And the four of them played Risk for their game night, which sounds like a terrible game night.
I don't know.
It's not.
I've heard it's fun, but I feel like it takes forever.
Yeah. I feel like that's playing Monopoly for game night. Just doesn't sound fun. I don't know. Then, after game night, Taylor offered to give Selena a back massage. And so she laid down on the floor. And as she laid there, completely trusting Jordan, her boyfriend, Justin came into the room and hit her repeatedly in the head with a hammer. And then they brought her into the bathroom, the same bathroom where they had just murdered and dismembered the Steinmans. And Selena was still alive, so Taylor held her head up so that he could see her. And then he said to Dawn, quote, "Spirit says you get to know that this isn't a dream." And then he slit Selena's throat, and she bled out.
Weird last thing to say.
Yeah. And then the three of them dismembered Selena's body as well. But Taylor was also now concerned about Selena's mom because he thought that she would be able to tie him to Selena's disappearance. And he knew that she was staying at Selena's apartment. And I don't know, he's just like a messy planner. I don't know, he's like not planning things well. So the next day, in the very early morning hours, he goes to Selena's apartment, intending to kill her mother, which you can look at your last picture. Her mother's name is Jennifer Villarin. She was 45. He was also concerned that Jennifer might know about the bank accounts that he had Selena open. He had a key to Selena's apartment. She gave him one as soon as she moved in. So he let himself in. And Jennifer had a friend over that night named James Gamble, who's 54. I don't know if they were dating or if they were just buddies. Anyways, he was spending the night.
Friends with Benny.
Taylor didn't know that he was going to be there, but he goes into the bedroom, finds both of them there, and shot both of them. The downstairs neighbor heard the gunshots and the sound of a car speeding away and went upstairs and discovered the bodies of Jennifer and James and called 911. And after killing Jennifer and James, Taylor went out with Justin and Dawn for breakfast. Just casual breakfast. When they came back to the house...
Murder works up an appetite, I guess.
Listen. When they came back to the house, they got to work making sure that the Steinmans and Selena would not be able to be identified. So while Dawn held their dismembered heads, Taylor and Justin pulled the teeth out and smashed them with a hammer. And then they wrapped all of the bodies up in garbage bags, put them into duffel bags. They rented a trailer and a jet ski and drove out to the Sacramento San Joaquin River Delta and dumped all 9 bags in the water. And then Taylor went to a music festival and left Justin and Dawn to clean up and get rid of evidence. Meanwhile, the Steinmans' daughter, Nancy, had called police to report her parents missing because she hadn't been able to get in touch with them. And Selena's coworkers had also reported her missing when she failed to show up for her shift at the restaurant where she worked. And then the same neighbor who had seen Selena and Taylor go into the house on the 3rd testified that she saw Taylor and Justin in a truck that was pulling a trailer with a jet ski. And she said that there were duffel bags in the truck bed and that the man in the passenger seat was holding a duffel bag in his lap. Which yeah, just don't do that. On August 6th, the Steinmans' minivan was found abandoned in a neighborhood in Oakland. A chainsaw or reciprocating saw, again, no one knows what kind, and a sawhorse were found inside, and then Justin and Dawn's fingerprints were found on the van. There's a lot more details of how they ended up connecting. Like, obviously they found Jennifer and James, like, just murdered. They figured out Selena was missing, and there's a lot more details of how they connected, like, those 3 murders with the Steinmans, but as we have kind of covered, like, Taylor is not the brightest criminal, so, like, I'm just gonna chalk it up to, like, the police were competent and it was not hard to connect them once they started looking. Justin and Taylor hired a professional carpet cleaner to come to their house to try and get a, quote, Kool-Aid stain out of their carpets. And the brothers calmly ate a snack and watched while the cleaners worked. So stupid. On August 7th, police had received information about Selena's mysterious boyfriend from a coworker and arrived at the Helzer residence with a search warrant. They were technically looking for the gun that had killed Jennifer and James, but they quickly discovered a bunch of drugs. So they arrested Jordan, Taylor, and Dawn on drug possession charges, but Taylor somehow got loose, ran off, broke into a neighbor's house. I think he broke into one neighbor's house first, and she had 2 big dogs that scared him off, which everyone go adopt some dogs. Goes into another neighbor's house, threatened her, made her give him a weapon, which she didn't have, like, actual weapons. So she gave him, like, a kitchen knife and a pair of scissors. I didn't show you a picture of what he looked like before court, but he had, like, a long, like, ponytail hair.
Creep.
I know, gross.
Like, just picturing him.
I know.
Nothing against ponytails.
I know.
But
I know, like, Connor pulls off the ponytail well.
Scott does the man bun well.
Yeah. Sorry, we're referencing our friends that have, our male friends that have long hair. So he cuts his ponytail off, changed into this woman whose house he broke into, changed into her husband's clothes, and then ran out the back door. But his brilliant disguise did not last very long.
Darn.
I know. They're still working on the disguise, the costume department. They're not great at that.
I want to get Cowgirl Dawn framed.
I want to get her drawn and framed somewhere. So he was arrested, like, apprehended pretty quickly. Later that same day, police recovered 2 duffel bags from the Makaloon, I'm sure I'm messing that up, river, from the water. Because they had floated to the surface. Because obviously, as we know, body parts float. One of the bags contained a human head, and the other contained a torso. And eventually 9 bags were recovered, and DNA analysis was able to confirm the identities of Annette and Ivan Steinman and Selena Bishop. And police believe that the remains had been mixed together in the bags in an attempt to make identification harder.
I mean, yeah, but we live in the time of DNA, so.
Yeah, it's 2000 at this point, guys.
Then again, the DNA could be, degraded and whatnot by the time they were discovered. I don't know.
True. I don't know. He also thought the apocalypse was going to happen, so, who knows. Taylor, Justin, and Dawn were all charged with 18 felonies, including murder, extortion, and kidnapping. Dawn actually underwent cult deprogramming counseling while in custody. This is something that her lawyer, got for her. And she agreed to a plea deal where she would testify against the brothers in order to avoid the death penalty, which she did, and she received 38 years to life. And during her testimony, she repeatedly said, quote, "I just did what Taylor told me to do." And she asserted that at the time, she didn't know the difference between right and wrong.
I disagree.
I don't know. In March of 2004, Taylor pled guilty to all counts, And in June of 2004, Justin pled not guilty by reason of insanity, but both men were convicted and given multiple death sentences. This is kind of sad. In 2010, Justin Helzer attempted to end his life by stabbing himself in the eyes with pins, but that just left him blind and partially paralyzed. And apparently he did, this was like at the end of the And That's Why We Drink episode, he did some interviews after that where it was apparently very remorseful and like, I don't know if he went through the cult deprogramming, but has since recognized that his brother is not a prophet, and recognized that everything he did was, you know, very horrible and wrong, and, you know, that his brother manipulated him in a lot of really awful ways. And unfortunately, in 2013, he did complete suicide by hanging himself in his cell. And Taylor Helzer remains incarcerated on death row in San Quentin State Prison. And that's the story of the Children of Thunder. So, and I don't know, I hope, I would assume if Taylor's in prison that he's getting treatment.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
That is a bold assumption.
That is a bold assumption. You're right. It's, who knows. And I guess, too, with that kind of treatment, you also have to comply with it. So, you can hope. And this is, I don't know. This is one of those situations. Part of me, sometimes I'm like, man, I was really understanding about Eddie Gein. And then something like this. But, and I'm like, yeah, I get that, like, his mom definitely, like, failed him in a lot of ways. Because if you're 15 years old and you start experiencing these symptoms and then like your mom is like, these are great, like it's the voice of God. Yeah. But
no, I feel like there wasn't a lot of opportunities for like other interventions and whatnot. Like maybe when he had some sort of episode at work and lost his job and went on disability, there probably should have been some like welfare checks and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, as far as Dawn and Justin, you know, like, while they're absolutely, you know, bad guys, you know, bad people who did bad things, they were also victims in a way, too. Because they, you know, were just susceptible to this very strong, dominant personality of Taylor's. Yeah. And so, you know, I don't necessarily feel bad for them because they did make decisions. They were obviously very clearly manipulated. Yeah. So it's hard to like really weigh a ton of. Yeah. I mean, I still 100% blame them for their actions. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that those decisions that they made were due to manipulation.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's gray area, just like all of life. All of life is gray.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity to remind people that mental health is very important, and
everyone go write your bomb list.
Yeah, I'm gonna
15 reasons why you're the bomb.
I'm gonna do that. I've started bringing my journal to work with me so that I can, in my downtime, try to process my emotions. I also
used to do that. I need to get back into my journaling. Like I really need to do it. I'm just unmotivated.
Well, I also made a point to make a therapy appointment before I go home for Christmas. I texted my therapist and I was like, do you have anything before Christmas? Because I might need to see you before I like
just
am home prep for the holidays.
Just a little prep work.
Just a little prep. Mental health is important. If your child comes to you and tells you that they are hearing voices, at the very least, maybe let's make an appointment with you know, a GP, a PCP.
We're not saying it's not the voice of God.
It could be Spirit Airlines. It could be
just, you know, look into it.
Spirit Halloween.
Before you make any assumptions on who that voice is, just you know, look into it a little bit more.
Because you would want to know if it's Spirit Halloween or Spirit Airlines.
I would be down for Spirit Halloween. Yeah. Because then I know where they're popping up next.
Yeah. But Spirit Airlines,
I don't care about those jerks.
Yeah. So, you know, just check in. So, anyways, Katie, do your
If you
thing.
want to see these pictures and the delightful photo, grainy as it is, of Cowgirl Dawn, you can check out our Facebook and Instagram at The Tales We Tell Podcast. And if you don't do the social media but you want to see those photos, you can always check out our website at thetaleswetellpodcast.com. If you want to support us and get yourself some sweet, sweet swag for the holiday season, you can go to redbubble.com, search The Tales We Tell. And if you want to support us, but you don't need the stuff except some, stickers, some love notes, some bonus content, like a naked and streaking Jarek, you can always become patrons at patreon.com/thetales-we-tell.
Yay! And I have no idea what I'll be writing next, but we've got one more? Two more?
Two more.
Two more.
No, one more. One more
before the holidays.
Yeah, because I've got 2 more weeks, and this will be coming out one of those weeks.
Okay. I have to have a calendar in front of me before
Yeah. So, our holiday schedule is 1 more episode after this, and then we're taking off the rest of the year. We'll be back the first week of the new year.
Yeah. So, we'll see you guys next week, maybe for something holiday themed. We'll see. I don't know. I have no idea. You guys know me.
Yeah.
Chaotic in my brain. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.